dolls and my ducklings. It's time for another Babalon's Whispered Lit. Tonight's reading, The Memoirs of Fanny Hill by John Cleland. This reading is taken from the Project Gutenberg ebook. Fanny Hill, Letter the First. seen in London, the tombs, the lions, the king, the royal family, the fine plays and operas, and in short, all the diversions which fell within her sphere of life to come at, the detail of all which perfectly turned the little head of me. Nor can I remember without laughing the innocent admiration, not without a spice of envy, with which we poor girls, whose church-going clothes did not rise above downless shifts and stuff gowns, beplaced with silver, all which we imagined grew in London, and entered for a great deal into my determination of trying to come in for my share of them. The idea, however, of having the company of a townswoman with her was the trivial, and all the motives that engaged Esther to take charge of me during my journey to town, where she told me, after the manner and style, as how several maids out of the country had made themselves and all their kind forever, that by preserving their virtue some had taken so with their masters, that they had married them and kept them coaches, and lived vastly grand and happy, and some mayhap came to be duchesses, luck was all, and why not I, as well as any other, with other almanacs to this purpose, which set me a tiptoe to begin this promising journey, and to leave a place which,